Hi, my name is Ganesh. I'm from learnenglishlab.com, and in this lesson, I'm going to show you the difference between the first, second, and third conditionals. Now, if you've learned grammar, you've probably heard some of these terms, but you might be a little confused about what they mean, and that's why we have this lesson today. Now, before we start, what's a conditional? Well, a conditional is a sentence with a condition and a result. And usually these types of sentences begin with the word if. For example, if I see you tomorrow, I'll give you my business card. In that sentence, the condition is if I see you tomorrow, and the result is I'll give you my business card. Now, when we talk about the three types of conditionals, we mean three types of sentences with the word if. Now, in English, there are many more types of conditionals. But the reason we're focusing on these three is because these are the base. So if you learn these three and you know them well, you'll be able to learn all the other types very easily. Now, the good news about learning the first, second, and third conditionals is that each of them is used for a very specific purpose. Now, the first conditional is used for real situations in the future. What do we mean by real situations? Because the future is not real, only the present is real, right? But when we say real, what we mean is that there is a possibility for that situation to happen in the future. That is, it's possible. So for example, if I win the lottery, I'll buy a Porsche. A Porsche is a sports car, if you didn't know, and it's really cool. So what I'm saying is that it's possible for me to win the lottery. And if I win it, I will buy a Porsche. So maybe I have a lottery ticket in my pocket and the results are coming out tomorrow. So tomorrow, if the number on my ticket matches the winning number and I win the lottery, I'll go and buy my favorite sports car. Or in this example, if Joe works hard, he'll earn a promotion. Now, when I say that, you can guess that Joe doesn't work hard now, but I think it's possible that he will work hard in the future. So if he works hard, he'll earn a promotion. Now, the second conditional, on the other hand, is used for unreal situations in the present or in the future. What do we mean by unreal? By unreal, we mean that we don't think the situation is possible, or we don't think it's going to happen. So imagine that you come to me and you ask me, hey, do you like sports cars? And I say, oh yeah, my dream is to buy a Porsche. If I won the lottery someday, I would buy a Porsche. Now, notice the difference between this sentence and this sentence over here. Now, in this sentence, I'm using the past tense. That doesn't mean I'm talking about the past. I'm still talking about the future. But when I use the past tense, it gives you the message that I don't think it's possible for me to win the lottery. I don't have a lottery ticket. I'm just dreaming about the future. If I won the lottery someday, I would buy a Porsche. Similarly, in our second example, if Joe worked hard, he'd earn a promotion. Now, you can guess from the way I say it that I don't think Joe's going to work hard. Joe is not working hard now, and I don't think he's going to work hard in the future. Well, if he worked hard, he'd earn a promotion, but come on, he's not going to work hard, so no promotion for Joe. Both of these sentences talk about situations in the future, but we can also use the second conditional to talk about imaginary or unreal situations in the present. So I could say, if I had wings, I would fly all over the world. I'm not talking about the future, I'm talking about right now. But also notice that this is not possible. It's not possible for me to get wings or grow wings. But I'm imagining an unreal situation. If I had wings, I would fly all over the world. Remember that this contraction here, I've written it in the short form. It's would. It's not had. It's I would or he would or she would, etc. So what about the third conditional? Well, the third conditional is used to talk about unreal situations just like the second conditional, but the third conditional is used to talk about past situations. So why are these situations unreal? Well, it's because the past is gone. We cannot change it. So anytime we talk about a conditional in the past, it's going to be unreal. Like in this example, if I had won the lottery, I would have bought a Porsche. What do you understand by that sentence? Now imagine that I bought a lottery ticket and I really wanted to win the lottery because I wanted to buy a Porsche. But then the results came out and I missed the lottery by one number. That means I didn't win the lottery. So because I didn't win the lottery, I didn't buy a Porsche. But I can imagine about the past. If I had won the lottery, I would have bought a Porsche. But I didn't win, so I didn't buy a Porsche. Or in our second example, if Joe had worked hard, he would have earned a promotion. So what's happened is Joe did not work hard and somebody else got the promotion. Joe did not get the promotion. So we're looking back at the past and we're saying, well, if Joe had worked hard, he would have earned a promotion. So he didn't work hard and no promotion for Joe. That's the difference between the first, second, and third conditional. Don't forget, the first conditional is used for real or possible situations in the future. The second conditional is used to talk about unreal or imaginary situations in the present or in the future. And the third conditional is used to talk about unreal situations in the past. Right now I want to spend just a couple of minutes talking about how we make these sentences. That is the grammatical form of these three conditional sentences. Now the first thing you should notice about all of these is that, like I said in the beginning, there's a condition part and a result part. And you will notice that in all three types of sentences, the condition part starts with if. But the difference is what tense we make the sentence after the if. So in the first conditional, we write if, and then look at this sentence over here, I win the lottery. This sentence is in the present simple tense because there's a subject I and then there's the present simple verb win. The same way Joe, who's the subject is who or what is doing the action, and then you have works, which is again in the present simple. This is what shows us that the situation is possible. And then in the result, we have a sentence with a subject and then with will. So I will buy a Porsche. And when we speak, we say I'll buy a Porsche, or he'll earn a promotion. Just remember that in all of these sentences, the subject in the condition and the subject in the result do not have to be the same. So I can say, if I win the lottery, my wife will be very happy. The subject in the condition is I, but the subject in the result is my wife. They can be different. But what's important in the first conditional is that you have present simple here and a subject with will in the result. Now in the second conditional, what tense is this sentence in? Well, this is in, it's in the past simple tense. So if I won the lottery or Joe worked hard, just remember they're not talking about the past. They just show us that we're talking about an imaginary situation. And in the result, once again, we're changing the sentence to the past tense. So instead of will, we're going to use would. Would is the past tense of will. So you have a subject plus would. So if plus past simple is the condition and subject plus would is the result. In the third conditional, do you know the name of this tense over here? We call it the past perfect tense. So you have if, and then you have a sentence in the past perfect. We know it's the past perfect because if you look in both of these sentences, after the subject, there's a had. That is fixed. You will always have had in the third conditional. And in the result, notice that there's another common element in both of those sentences. Can you identify what's common? It's would have. So you have subject plus would have. If you've been paying very close attention, you will notice that the difference between the second and third conditionals is simply that we have added a have in both the condition and the result. Here it's in the past perfect, so it's become had. Here it's with would, so it's become would have. All right, let's do a quick recap. You make the first conditional using if followed by a present simple sentence in the condition, and in the result you have the subject and then you add will to the subject. You make the second conditional with if and a past simple sentence in the condition, and you put the subject and would to make the result. In the third conditional, you put if followed by a past perfect sentence, that is a sentence with had, and you make the result with the subject and would have. All right, now I'm going to give you a test to see if you understand the three types of conditionals. On the screen I've got 4 sentences, and all of these sentences contain errors. Your job is to correct the errors in each sentence. Pause the video now if you need. Think about your answers, and then when you're ready, play the video again and check. All right, let's discuss the answers. In the first sentence, if it will rain, we'll have the party inside. Now, this is a very common mistake that a lot of people make. They put will in the condition. Remember that for the first conditional, you make it by putting if and then a present simple sentence. So the correct answer is if it rains, we'll have the party inside. Number 2, if Millie would have potatoes, she will make fries. Now in this sentence, there are 2 mistakes. Just by looking at the sentence, you can probably guess that Millie does not have potatoes. That means this is an imaginary situation. So we need the second conditional. Remember that we form the second conditional using a past simple sentence in the condition. So we have to change this to if Millie had potatoes, that's the condition, and in the result, we need would. So she would make fries. So the sentence is, if Millie had potatoes, she would make fries. Number 3, I will not buy that house if I am in your position. This sentence is an attempt to give advice. Now, what conditional is this sentence in? Well, it should be in the second conditional. Why? Because I am not in your position. I am imagining about being in your position. In fact, I cannot be in your position. Only you can be in your position. Now, one other thing to notice in this sentence is that the condition and the result are interchanged. So the result is first and the condition is second. Now, that is perfectly okay. There's nothing wrong with doing that. All right, let's now change the sentence into the correct form. Let's look at the condition first. We're going to make the condition using the past tense. So if I was or were in your position, to give advice we can use were, and that's more common. And the result is I would not buy that house, or I wouldn't buy that house. So the full sentence is I wouldn't buy that house if I were you. In our final example, example number 4, Jessica wouldn't met her fiancé if she didn't go to New Zealand. Now, from reading this sentence, you can guess that Jessica already went to New Zealand. She met a man there, they fell in love, and now they're engaged to be married. A fiancé means she's going to marry him. She is his fiancée. So this sentence talks about the past. That means we need the third conditional. We make the third conditional using the past perfect tense in the condition. So the condition is if she hadn't gone to New Zealand. In the result, we need would or wouldn't have. So the result is Jessica wouldn't have met her fiancé. The complete sentence is Jessica wouldn't have met her fiancé if she hadn't gone to New Zealand. Okay, how many of those did you get right? I hope you got all of them right. If you didn't, that's okay, because these can be a little tricky in the beginning, but as you practice these sentences, they'll become second nature and you'll be using conditionals like a pro. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Remember to subscribe to this channel. I have lots of new lessons coming, and I'll see you in another lesson soon.